Welcome to the new Overlords Podcast, where we talk about video games and sometimes, like today, why they are the way they are. I'm Max, and with me is someone who knows how to skin a cat, my co-host Sema. Hello there, Sema.
I cannot even imagine.
Did I say that wrong? Put a skin on a cat?
I don't even know how to start that process.
Put on a cat skin?
I don't understand the impulse behind it.
We're going to talk about skins today. You can
Yes,
put
we are.
put on a cat skin is maybe what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to see. Yeah, yes, cat skins would be awesome in any game.
Now it sounds terrible to me. Now that I can't get that out of my head. Cat skins. Now, as we talk about skins for the rest of the episode, that's going to be in my head along with Silence of the Lambs, because that's coming too.
I know. That's kind of a horrifying drop-in we have.
Yeah. Chat room is saying this went off the rails quickly. That escalated quickly. But before we get into that, we do have a little bit of game news today.
Good news, everyone!
Quick update, because I don't think we talked about it just yet. One of our favorite games, of course, is Star Wars: The Old Republic and Broadsword, and their executive producer, Keith, put out an executive producer letter in the last week or so. And not a bunch of breaking news in there, but we thought we would bring it up and remind people to go check it out, especially if you haven't been paying attention to what's been going on in the game the last quarter. It's mostly a reflection on what's happened so far, which is not bad.
No, it's a lot of stuff.
It has been quite a bunch of stuff. We did get the news, though, in here, if you scroll way down, that
If you keep going, if you don't give up.
if you get through, well, because, and we were talking about this on the pre-show, if you have been playing the game and you know everything that they've been doing, it's not that riveting, because it's all the things that we know. We know, Keith. But he did say, we are going to get a developer live stream coming sometime, maybe in about a month out. He will talk about what's going to be in 7.5.1. So each quarter now, they've got a quarter releases for the game, alternating between bigger ones and smaller ones. So there'll be a smaller one coming in summer, late summer, and then late fall will be the next bigger one. But they'll have a dev stream. They're going to talk about new date nights coming, so I know people are interested in that. And then Nightlife will be back. It will be back. I hope this doesn't have audio associated with it. No, it doesn't. Did you see the new helmet that's part of the Nightlife cosmetic rewards?
I did not scroll down that far.
It looks like your sunglasses that you wear the whole time, but like built into a helmet visor. Kind of like it. It does look flashy, and it's all metallic and glossy on the helmet, and the rainbow reflection bit on the lenses. This is all their new texture tech that's built into the game. So if you haven't seen this stuff in a while, they've got new tech that they've been able to tweak the engine to be able to do, and it's adding a lot as they make any of these new skins. So cool. Nightlife, July 9th. Some people thought Nightlife was just still going on, and who knows? Maybe it is somewhere in the multiverse. Also in the news, the Star Wars: The Old Republic Cartel Market, their little cash shop, Stealth dropped a huge sale with like everything, tons and tons of things, like nearly like half the amounts that have ever been released in the game. I don't know why they didn't advertise this more, or like warn anybody that was coming. It's a ton. So this is Cal today in Tor. He took pictures of everything in the Cartel Market. A bunch of things are in there that haven't been in there in a while too. So if there's something you've been waiting for, tons of great discounts.
Such a resource for the community. If you don't follow him, you should.
Yes. If you are all interested in Star Wars: The Old Republic stuff, he is one of the great content creators, along with a whole bunch of them. You know, got some classics in there, but I do like having some content still in web page form. It's what Teresa does a good job of this too. Even when she puts out a video, she'll put out like web page versions and text versions of things, because sometimes you just want, words. Because if you have a question like, how much does the mount cost? I don't need to watch a 20-minute YouTube video just about that.
And sometimes you're on a call with your family
Right.
and you'd rather just be scrolling through stuff.
Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the price of the new vintage load lifter. It's coming, but first, let's talk about our sponsor, Squarespace, and make sure you like and subscribe. And it's 200. Just say 200. You could have put it in the title. Of course, no one would have clicked on your video, but that's okay. 48 pages worth of sales. So get in there, get it while it's hot, if you know what I mean. I don't know why I said that way. Also in the news, I did want to hit on this. I thought when I was putting the news together earlier in the week that this might be a bigger deal and we might have, ranting to counter rant against, but it's really not too bad. So we did get a little bit of some hot takes on the Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail release that came out. There was people early on, but it seems to have died out really quickly. So early on saying, oh, it's kind of slow. There's not like you go like 2 hours of cutscenes before you ever even get into combat in the expansion. Bunch of comments trying to have a hot take. But it also now at this point, a few days later, seems to me that the Final Fantasy fans, this is the game. Have you not played Final Fantasy before in the last 10 years? Did you not play A Realm Reborn when you would go days without doing anything but watching your character nod in cutscenes? It's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's the game, man.
Yeah, but there's new stuff. There's new classes. I believe there's a new class like that new painter class, and people are leveling up their characters and playing through the story. And it was supposed to be a story with a little bit lower stakes. They telegraphed this for the past year. They explained it's sort of like an interlude before, an upswing. They got off of a big arc, and the giant conflagration of the universe exploding was kind of settled. And now this is Dawn Trail. This is Dawn, the dawn of a new era, and the stakes don't have to be super high. You don't have to get tossed right into a meat grinder again. That's fine. They can. It's their game. They can do what they want, and I appreciate that. There was, which I thought was interesting, and is a reflection again on the positiveness of the community in general. This is quite rare. There are people posting on Reddit saying, hey, it's okay to like Dawn Trail. Please don't downvote everyone that even has a moderate opinion, because the fans are fans and they're like, shut up. And they're downvoting people that are coming in there, because a lot of people are trolls and they're just trying to stir the pot or make themselves feel good and thinking that like a negative hot take is a personality. It's not. So
No.
people are, in this one instance in Reddit, in this one little corner, downvoting that. Now, if you go to like MMORPG subreddit, everybody hates it, because that subreddit hates MMOs more than any other community on the internet, just as capital or small G gamers hate games more than anyone. So, but yeah, good to see people are liking it and standing up for things that they like and allowed to like stuff and allowed to be fans and give it some space. I think you were saying, Sema, about MMOs having a long tail. Can you explain your point of view on that?
Well, so
say it for you.
the appeal of a release of an MMO may not be evident on day 1 or day 3 or day 5.
Right.
An MMO is a journey, just like some open sandbox games are. And so you discover stuff along the way. So there's no need to rush to judgment on any MMO release.
Right. Exactly. In game release news, we got a couple things that we can highlight. Just a couple. It's quieting down a little bit. We go through these ebbs and flows. We did talk about this game in the past. I've been keeping my eye on it. I may just jump right in. July 9th is the official release of Once Human. So very pretty, as long as it's not too gross and horror-y and just leaning into just horror. It could be really cool. If it's more on the sort of like the supernatural and there's plenty of the really fun survival parts to it, this could be something that hooks me in and gets me away from what have I been doing a lot lately?
Fallout 76.
You know what I've been doing more than that? If maybe we'll talk about it at the end, is Starfield. I've been playing a ton of Starfield around my even Bessie. I still get in there and take Bessie and Star Wars: The Old Republic for a walk, that little venture that they have. But Starfield, single player game, has totally sucked me back in, and I'm building my own little universe in Starfield. Anyway, Once Human, maybe I'll be playing that. And then this next one, I showed this to you, but I also said that I'm gonna say that you need to go play this and tell us all about it.
Right.
I don't know why. Because you're not gonna play Once Human. So you go play this. Explain what this is and describe it.
Well, I don't know that much about it, but it's a cute, like you said, cozy RPG. Looks adorable. It professes to have some kind of cultural impact, which I sometimes get on.
Chia. Chia with a T.
Yeah, not like Chia Pet.
Yeah, TCHIA.
Yeah. And like I've said, games have the power to change the world.
Yeah.
So maybe this is one small, not that every game needs to change everything about the world, but to make some kind of positive impact would be great.
Yeah.
Because they have the power to.
And this has been out on PlayStation. It's finally coming to Xbox, and it's coming to Game Pass, which is why we were saying, oh, well, good. I mean,
yes. Because I do have Game Pass.
Right.
I'm a Game Passer now.
Low barrier to entry for us Game Passers to get in there and try it. Yeah, they say here in the little trailer, it says inspired by real places, real people, real traditions, real cultures.
Right. And it doesn't, apparently they don't kick any puppies.
No puppy kicking, as opposed to our next game. So this segues right into, this one isn't really in our wheelhouse too much, but I keep seeing this every time I see a Devolver booth at PAX West or East. Angerfoot is going to be released on July 11th. So it's a first-person shooter, but at least half of your weapons are your foot. You kick things in first person. So you have different shoes that give you different powers, and you run around, and there's some shooting. You have a gun in your right hand, and then like your feet, either both feet or your left foot, they keep like jumping off of things, and like both feet are in front of you and your gun. So I don't know how you're like flying through the air, but it's Angerfoot, and you're like this green mutant, and you're angry and you kick everything. It's hilarious. It's a Devolver special. Devolver's always got those sort of like special games that they like to publish.
More power to them, I say.
It's a little indie studio called Free Lives that put this together, and they've done a couple other sort of special games in the past as well. So you can check them out. I do like them. Fun. So we will be keeping our eye on that. Who knows? Maybe this is going to be the next big thing, and everybody's going to be streaming Angerfoot next week. Coming out on the 11th, so warm up your foot for it. Maybe you can get a special controller or play it in VR where you actually have to use your foot. That'd be great. I want to see that. I want to see people kicking their TVs down and stuff.
I saw a question on the internet that said, is anger foot free? And I'm like, is anger foot free?
No. It's full of feet.
Yeah.
As always, thanks to everybody out there for following and listening. If you need any of the subscribe links or audio or video, it's all the links to everything are on newoverlords.com. I was lamenting the fact that social media is dead, but if you do want to follow us on any of the social medias, we're on all of the text social medias. So Blue Sky and Mastodon and X. But nobody's on there. So I can tell you that, but nobody's on there. I'll post on there at least a few times a week. I'll like watch my feeds. I'll go on there. I'll watch my feed, and I follow like hundreds of people, and I'll like in the morning check Twitter, and then in the afternoon I'll check Twitter, and there'll be like no more posts. I'm like, what is going on? Nobody's there anymore. But if you do want to follow there, the best place to follow, of course, is Discord. That's where we are on all day, every day, talking to people, posting things, both our Discord and our big community family-friendly guild where we play a bunch of games with everyone in the community, AIE. So you can go to newoverlords.com for Discord. We're playing everything, I said.
If you want something entertaining on X, you can scroll through all of Angerfoot's posts.
I would bet that's entertaining. Again, Devolver knows what they're doing. Again, special games. But AIE-guild.org for the AIE Discord. There's that too. All right, Sema, we've got a topic today, a special topic. Let me introduce it for you.
It puts the off-brand lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
I went to clip the Silence of the Lambs version of that. So that's the Family Guy version when Chris is like lowering down lotion and to Meg and Pitt, and Meg and him get into an argument because it's not even like it's off-brand lotion. They just keep arguing about that. Anyway, I went to the clip of the actual scene with Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, and it was just too disturbing. It's still too disturbing.
Yeah, right.
So I did not want to go there. It is such a disturbing scene. Nothing happens except that, but it's disturbing. It's disturbing. So anyway, we're talking about skins. No, not skins the off of people, but the kind of skins that you would put on people in video games. Yeah, I've made it weird. I don't know why I had to do that.
It was so innocent before.
Yes, it escalated quickly. Anyway, we started talking about this because we've been talking about a few things. What makes games fun? What drives games? How are games different today than they have been in the past? I don't know why. No, this came up because you started talking about WoW.
Yeah.
And an interesting spin they have, which we'll talk about a little bit, and maybe even go deep into it in a future episode. But the trading post, right? And I think what really got me is you said, just in an offhand DM, you said, WoW has the best skins.
And I said, yeah.
It's probably arguable, but explain your point there. Because
well,
I don't think a lot of people would necessarily agree with that, but it is great. I mean, they really
wouldn't. I think it's like, it's extremely personal and subjective, right? But I do see a lot of WoW skins that make me think, oh, I want that. That's purely what I was going on.
Yeah.
And I also, I like the art style of WoW anyway. So if you don't, then this is not for you. But also, when we were having this conversation in DMs, I also allowed that, maybe there are other games with skins that are also very good that I just don't know because I don't play. Like if I've seen lots of footage of Call of Duty, for instance, but doesn't mean I know the special prizes or what's in their cash shop.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about skins.
I did find a couple really good videos. One is 5 years old. So Miles Hackett from The Score Esports channel. I don't even know how much they do on that channel anymore because this is from 5 years ago. They still have 2 million subscribers. So I guess this is like a big deal. But 5-year-old video where he sort of walked through the history of skins and did a really good job pulling out a couple things that I thought were interesting.
That was a really, if you haven't, I recommend it. It's a really good listen.
I mean, he started with saying you could talk about skins going way back to the origin of video games, back to Wolfenstein, when people would basically, or they would like hack a Mario ROM and change the colors of things. But skins as like a downloadable thing or an add-on to a game didn't really happen until 2001. This is where he got his origin. And who knows, maybe there was something that was around that time or even a little bit before that time that you count as a skin. But there was downloadable skins for Sonic Adventure 2. And that was kind of the actual start when video games started doing downloadable add-on kind of official skins. And this is what came to my mind when I started thinking about downloadable skins, the real big splash of when skins became not only apparent to gamers and a thing that happened, but
when they became controversial right away.
And hot takes and articles were written about it, and uproars started on whether skins are good or bad. Everybody's probably nodding their heads right now. Elder Scrolls Oblivion horse armor. It was only $2.50. I didn't realize it was only $2.50. But Elder Scrolls Oblivion added a cash shop, and for $2.50 you could get horse armor. And it didn't
armor for your horse, not even a skin that makes you into a horse.
Right. Yeah. So like make you into a horse and you're like jumping around all nimbly pimbly. It just basically puts a blanket on your horse's back. And this is 2006 level graphics. So it's, it's got like 5 polygons to it, and but it still looked nice.
And it's completely cosmetic.
Completely cosmetic and in a single player game. And the gamer community, the small G gamers, went crazy. This is a travesty. This is terrible. We hate Bethesda. And since then, now all gamers hate all games as a result. Maybe this is the origin of the hate.
Yeah.
This is the first time people really were able to like hate something somewhat justified. I guess you could actually explain an argument for it, and then get other people agreeing with you, which then creates that little dopamine positive feedback loop. Well, if I hate it and somebody else goes, yeah, right on, man. Well, then you feel like you did something. You contributed something. You didn't, but you feel like you did. Anyway, I'm going off the rails into another rant again.
I keep in my mind, and I know it's useless, but I keep comparing it to real life. I keep wanting to say things like, if you walked into a store and the goods there were so expensive you didn't think it was worth it, you would think, oh, I don't like this store. I'm going to a different store. You wouldn't become enraged.
Right.
And start complaining to the manager or something. It's just like, this is not for me.
Or like walk back and forth, go stand on the corner with a sandwich board talking about how much you hate it, trying to get like people to come and subscribe to your sandwich board newsletter.
Yes. But all the people who said it was the beginning of a big thing were completely right, because it became a very big thing.
Yes, it did. The next platform that really took it to the next level by making it both interesting, but also in a way that the community could participate on was Team Fortress 2. So Team Fortress 2, I'm trying to look up a little video for it or something, but it was the hats, right?
Yes, and and you could trade them in the game and sell them, and they developed like even a hat economy.
Yes, and allowing players to trade hats then made it much bigger than it might have been to start. Because now it was not only something you could collect, and then they added a rarity of the hats, and then the ability to trade hats in a hat economy, this cosmetic economy, suddenly gave a whole bunch of weird value to these silly cosmetics that opened the eyes of both players and third-party markets and bad actors and game companies to say, this is a real thing. This is something that could potentially change not only the virtual fake game economy we've created here in Team Fortress 2, but is this going to change the game development economy? And you and I, Sema, we've done interviews with game developers and game producers, and this kind of thing, having this as the model to fund a game and a studio, gets more games made.
Right.
So whether we like it or you hate it, whether you think it's terrible or it's not, and we'll get a little bit into some of the dark side of these kinds of things, but being able to put out a free game and fund the continued development of a live service game with cosmetics allows new games to be made and allows studios to persist that wouldn't otherwise. So So I thought that was interesting. And then sort of the king of it right now is, of course, Fortnite. Fortnite makes billions of dollars off of this stuff, and people love it. Everybody loves it. All of the players love it. They love the skins. They love dressing up in these. And there was, what was that? There was another creator so this is about a year old. Ren's Views. He had a little video where he was sort of digging into this question of why. Why do we like these skins? And it's not science, but he definitely talked about Fortnite. And he went and bought a skin in Fortnite, and then he talked to people in the game and was like asking them, you like my skin? What about your skin? Where'd you get it? How much do you think you've spent on these skins, and why? Why do you like it? I thought that was an interesting question. And you, Sema, I guess let's ask you. I didn't prepare you for this question. Now I'm going to spring it on you like I like to do. You like to dress up your characters. You do transmog and stuff, and dress up your characters in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Why? Why do you do that? Why, Sema? I mean, I do it too, and you can ask me in just a second. Or you can ask me first if you want to turn it around and give yourself time to think about it.
I do like to have a look, as opposed to just the sort of clown outfit that you accumulate as you collect gear. So that's one thing. But I mean, let me answer by telling you like a really short story. I was in an instance with some, people. It was a pickup group, so it was people I didn't know, and we mounted up to ride to a different part of the instance, and this guy had a mount that was a giant Murloc, which is one of the silly characters in WoW. And I said, "Oh, I didn't know there was a giant Murloc mount in WoW." And he said, "Oh yeah, I don't remember where I got that." And so I looked it up afterwards. By the way, the embarrassing thing is I have this mount. I forgot about it, but it was from buying a 12-month subscription to WoW.
Oh,
That's how
one
you
of
got
those.
Right. And I understand why he didn't remember now, because I didn't remember either, but because I pay by the year for WoW, and so I just automatically got this. It wasn't like on my radar of things I did. I didn't do an achievement for it. I didn't whatever. And I don't know. Like, I prefer to play my characters that I like the look of than my characters that I don't like the look of. I don't know the why of that.
I do too. So I dress up. I kind of love to find a look that I like, and I stick with them. I kind of stick with them. I don't redress my characters very often. My mercenary in WoW, I really like. I put one of the new glossy dyes on it to spice it up, but I really like the armor. I like the look. I get, I have headcanon backstory for that character, but it's been wearing that armor set for a couple of years now, at least. My Vanguard has been wearing that armor set for 10 years, but I like it. But you're right. Why? Why do I like it?
If I change my armor, I'm going to sit down. That's going to be my activity for the next little bit, right? I don't randomly
potentially a
think,
long time, right?
Yeah. So I do tend to stay with the same look once I get one. In fact, I have a second druid in WoW right now because of Remix. I went and looked up what the outfit was on my first druid and put it on my second druid because I just like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. I've done that too. Because I have Taurens in are a couple of my main characters in World of Warcraft, and they're kind of hard to dress.
Right. And maybe one day I will, if I end up playing this character permanently, maybe she'll get an outfit of her own. But right now, I just wanted something that didn't hurt my eyes.
I like to also have looks that are a little more subdued. I'm not a big fan of the, I'm a giant banana. And we'll talk about Fortnite in a second. And why you might like that, and why people do go like that. But I like something that sort of fits in with my headcanon. And as you said, one of the uses in a lot of these games, especially RPGs and MMOs, is the armor that you're picking up off the ground might be things that you need to equip just so that you can get the stats off of it. But especially because you're mixing matching as you level up, it can look like a clown suit. You can look like an idiot. Like, what are you wearing? Like this, like the the shiny shoulders, the leather shoes, the cloth dress. I gotta wear this dress. I didn't want to wear a dress, but I have to wear this daisy sunflower sundress because it's got the best stats. So deal with it. But if you can hide that under a suit that looks cool and fits in with sort of like the story in your head, and that's a fun thing. That's sort of why I like it.
For me, it's more that when you're, like your shoulders are purple and your chest armor is green.
It's got to be color. It's got to match too.
I mean, for me, it doesn't even have to match. It just can't be purple and green.
I do like to match the mount that I ride. I will change those out more often. I like it when they match my armor, my color scheme, for one. For two, I also sometimes like it when they match the environment or the planet. I do this in Star Wars all the time. If I go to Tatooine, I want to ride Bantha.
Tauntaun. Tatooine. I was thinking Hoth. Yeah.
On Hoth, we ride Tauntauns. Yeah, exactly. I like that. Now, some of the other things that people were talking about in that video and that you could sort of assume or guess is it's fun to look unique. It's fun to make a statement. So you think about Fortnite and just the crazy, goofy things that people wear in Fortnite. I always looked sort of askance at some of that stuff, like the giant banana. Now, I kind of learned a little bit more about that giant banana. When you play Fortnite, it's Battle Royale, so you're trying to last till the end, and you want to be the last person standing. When you have the banana skin, apparently I didn't realize this, the banana, it starts to brown and get spots on it at the longer and longer you last throughout the game. So that's clever. That's a fun little thing.
Clever.
But
I mean, go ahead.
But people also use it as a way to like either intimidate other players.
Yes. I mean, that's what I was gonna say, because a while back I asked a friend of mine, and this was about character names, so it's the same answer. It's like, I mean, why would you name your character like, my private part smell or something? And this guy said, well, because then it's more humiliating when you kill somebody in PvP.
Right. You're trolling them.
Yeah.
Now, not only did you die, but now you've got, like a tiny Chucky doll with a big lollipop that's teabagging you.
Actually, that does sound terrifying.
Yeah. So you're like humiliated, or you think you're humiliating. Now, you're not really, because people die, once a minute in these things. And,
right.
But, there was
right.
a couple
I'm not sure
times
I buy that reasoning, but yeah, for that reason.
Well, I mean, people do tell themselves that story, but it also gives themselves a little bit of confidence too. And one of the people that when one of the videos was sort of like informal interviews with people, he was saying, when you wear the cool skin, does it make you feel more confident? Do you think does it make you feel better? Like you're going to do better in the match? And they're like, yeah, I kind of feel that way. Kind of makes me have more connection to my character and think my character's cooler, so I'm going to do better. And when you think you're going to do better, placebo effect, then you're potentially going to do better. So that's fun.
I mean, and it goes the other way too. Like there's an outfit in WoW that basically looks to me like onesie pajama thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're a toddler or something. And yeah, there are a lot of those across all games. I like it when I run into someone who's wearing it, but I don't want to wear it because I feel like there's some voice that says people won't take you seriously, or if you fail, they'll be just like, well, that's expected, So I'm not brave enough to wear it.
Maybe, but I'm kind of the same way, Sema. I grew up with, you dress for success. You want to dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have.
And I want the job of winner.
And I want the job of, like Lord Winner, ruler of Stormwind. And would the ruler of Stormwind be running around in a hoodie pajamas with little dinosaurs on it? However, then there's the flip side. And this was This must be like a Terry Pratchett thing. The Monks of Cool. And the final test for the Monks of Cool was you get sent into the room of the wardrobes, and you have to pick out what the new wardrobe for yourself to graduate to become a Monk of Cool. And the right answer, of course, is whatever I'm wearing. That's the coolest. So you can wear whatever you want. And if you got it, then if you got the Riz, then whatever you're wearing becomes the coolest. And from what I can tell, that's totally true. Because there'll be people like these top streamers that are wearing the hoodie pajamas and the giant lollipop, and then everybody thinks that that's like the coolest thing. So I can't deny, I can't argue against that. Apparently it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
So wear whatever you want, put whatever you want in there, make your character name whatever you want it to be. However, in our guild, we do not allow, because we have kids too, so not in front of the children. It's got to be not inappropriate and not like drug references. You know, smoky ass face. Smoking the ganja ass face will not pass our name filter in AIE, unfortunately. But and plenty of other places that's perfectly fine. So you want to name your character that. I wouldn't, because that's now your character name, and maybe you're gonna have that in your face for, it's like the danger of tattoos.
It's the other thing. Whenever I'm like, we haven't talked as much about character creation, but character creation and what your outfit is, I always look at what it looks like from behind, because that's what's in your face,
right,
the whole time.
Yeah, so you're looking at that ass, aren't you?
I'm looking at the back of the hairdo, and I'm looking at how
does a clip
shield looks on your back. Yeah,
that's a lot of times why I don't like capes, because they clip weird, they do weird things, and I'm like staring at, and then it like covers all of your armor set from the back. It's like, I just get that cape out of here. I can't see my cool assless chaps. All chaps are assless. Anyway, there was a couple other things I thought that were interesting, which is, why else are there these kind of cosmetics? Obviously to make money for games. But as you said, either rewards in a couple different ways, rewards for supporting the game, like, hey, you did a 12-month subscription, that kind of really helps us out, that gives us a bunch of sustained revenue. We'll give you an extra skin or cosmetic for that. Achievements in-game, like skins and unlocks. I really like that concept, and players seem to really like it. You see why a cosmetic shop might be a big deal, but if you can also earn, or all the cosmetics are just in-game, you can't pay for them, that both satisfies people that want to be unique, want the skins, and then when it's not a cash shop and like feeling even a little bit like it's a cash grab, people do really tend to like that. So WoW, for a long time, that's kind of how the game was made. The mounts and the pets and all of that kind of thing were, mounts especially, it's just a cosmetic. All the mounts operate the same, but you would go and collect them in game as a cosmetic, as a skin, because you wanted to, and it made you stand out, and you would earn them.
They do now. They haven't always.
They operated differently?
There used to be some mounts were faster. But I think that ended with Kata or something.
Yeah, same as Star Wars or the Old Republic. There used to be some mounts that would be faster. Some special mounts you would it was harder to dismount you off of it. But they did kind of normalize all of that, especially when cash shops came along. They definitely normalized this, because a big no-no for any cash shop is pay to win.
Yeah.
So if you put a mount in the shop, or a weapon, or a armor that has abilities that you can't get in game, or that are differentiated, or allows you to shortcut playing the game, that really upsets people. So we're mostly here just talking about the cosmetics. But yeah, so I think it's interesting. I think it's nice as that kind of in-game earnable cosmetic. It's an incentive beyond just the core gameplay loop as something to strive for. I think that's an interesting part of the sort of the game design. And then the rewards both inside the game and outside, like for the 12-month contract, and even the cash shop cosmetics where it's for charity kind of thing. That's an interesting spin on it too, I think. So we're going to put out this skin, but 50% or all or 100% of anybody who buys this pet, we're donating that to World Wildlife Fund. I think that's an interesting aspect of the use of skins and cosmetics as well. WoW has done a few of those over time, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They actually have they do like once a year, maybe.
Oh, is it that often?
I think so.
Oh, that's cool.
I would have to do some historical checking to be, but that's my feeling. Don't quote me on it.
Sema says,
don't say it
once per year and only once per year. WoW does. So send your at Sema on social network.
I remember
make a TikTok video responding to Sema.
Elder Scrolls, maybe the first with the horse armor, but I remember when Blizzard came out with their first cash shop thing for WoW, which was the first one I was aware of, which was the Sparkle Pony. I forget what it's really called, but everyone called it Sparkle
something.
Pony. Yeah. And I wanted the Sparkle Pony. I mean, it's a pony, and it was sparkles.
Did you buy it?
I did buy it, but I was embarrassed about it for a long time. Now I'm just
I don't
water
think.
Off the back.
I don't think I did. Celestial Steed. Here we go. Celestial Steed. This is an old video. Show me the Celestial Steed. This is like in 480p video. Oh, it's a machinima song. They're singing about the Celestial Steed or doing something.
Yeah, the Tears of Noobs.
Anyway, yeah, I did not buy it because I was anti that kind of thing at the time. I didn't begrudge anyone else buying it.
No, but for you, it wasn't worth the $10. Yeah. No, I get that. I totally get that.
Especially because at that point I was into collecting mounts and not using them. And I do this in all the games.
Right.
Like as I said, I get like one armor set I really like in Star Wars: The Old Republic. I got this like really nice armor set. I put that armor set on it and I keep it for 10 years. If I'm not like, why am I going to buy a new armor set from a cash shop, let alone I don't even use the cool ones that I collect in the game. So, I shouldn't be like out there buying things if I'm just keeping.
That's right.
Thing on my...
That's right. That's like I shouldn't buy this spinach at the store when I threw away the spinach last time I bought it.
I do have a couple mounts though that I got as rewards for other things. Like I have the Hearthsteed, which you got by like playing when Hearthstone released. You played Hearthstone and you got a mount in World of Warcraft. So there's another use. It's the sort of that cross promotion going on.
Right.
And I love the Hearthsteed, and that's my main mount in most of what I do in World of Warcraft because
I like the horse. I like that mount too.
Compact.
I like most of the horse models.
I like the horse models, and that's a horse model that also flies, so you'd have to like pick a different mount to fly, where it's used to be a big deal. Yeah, I like that.
I do like it because, like you say, it's not huge.
Now, I did have a thought that I thought would be a little bit fun to debate, which was, why do we still like cosmetics in single player games?
I don't know the answer to that.
We do. But yeah, that's weird, isn't it? I mean, we want to you want to dress up your character still.
Right. But I think that's a little bit informs us about part of why we like it, even in multiplayer games, because part of it is just personal gratification.
Right. It's a personal thing. It's like what you want to see and how, it's just fun. It's a fun for you. And it doesn't have to be it's not, it's not necessarily just showing off or trolling other people or making a statement or showing off that you're rich enough to buy every skin that's out there. It's just something that you like and it's amusing and it's fun pixels to have on your screen. So yeah, that's cool. I think that's perfectly fine too. Now let's talk for just a second on some of the dark side, which we definitely want to avoid, or we encourage game developers to avoid, and we avoid like the plague personally, which is the bad versions of cash shops and skins and fear of missing out, causing people to spend lots of money, the gambling, put the rarest skin in a loot crate. Nobody does this anymore because I think that, a lot of countries now have laws against this, but gambling, putting a rare skin in a loot crate and you having to basically gamble and buy an infinite number of loot crates to try to get it. Very rarely does any game studio go to that level anymore, but there are new dark patterns that still exist.
And there are situations where they push the limits. Like they can't go to point B, but they try to go to A .99999.
Mm-hmm. And there's little ways around, little dark patterns that still exist that people don't really seem to have a problem with, but are still problematic. Like every cash shop seems to insist on having a secondary currency. So you're not buying you're not buying the armor set for $250 anymore. You're buying it for 200 Oblivion bucks. And the Oblivion bucks can only be bought in packs of 1,000. And a skin costs 800. So you buy 1,000 Oblivion bucks and then you get the skin for 800. And now you got 200 Oblivion bucks sitting around. And now that's pretend money, but you did pay real money for that pretend money. And you can't do anything. You can't buy like another skin with it.
Right.
So that's...
And it obfuscates the cost in the first place.
It obfuscates the cost. And as soon as you make that transaction to turn it into the virtual currency, it psychologically becomes pretend money, and it's not. That's still your cash that's being wasted on these skins.
It's the old hot dog in the hot dog bun question too.
Right. Why are there 10 hot dogs in a pack of hot dogs and only 8 buns in the pack of buns?
You have to double your hot dogs in 2 buns.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. 2 people get a double dog. Sweet. Love that. Or 2 hot dogs get no bun and they're raw dogging it. Commando dogs, however you want to phrase that. Yeah. So watch out for those dark patterns. You don't want that kind of thing. They also it's a way, again, this is not that dark of a dark pattern, but if you get people spending that extra money on cosmetics in your game, they kind of feel locked into the game. They kind of feel like they've invested in the game. And that's another psychological trick that creates a barrier, an exit barrier for then people won't leave your game. And if it's a live service, then they're sticking around longer. If there's a subscription, they're paying the subscription longer because they feel like they've invested. But that's sunk cost fallacy. Don't get yourself wrapped up in that. If you're done playing a game, you're done playing a game. You had
it's not called sunk cost truthing.
Right. Sunk cost truthacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you like the cosmetics quite a bit in World of Warcraft. You said that those are some of the best in the market. What are your favorite ones that you have in World of Warcraft?
Well, there are thousands of them, so that's a hard question.
Yeah, it is. Well, at this point, right? So you said
I'm including mounts and pets when I say that too.
I mean, how many mounts do you have now? Mounts and pets do you have? Do you know that, like, the ballpark number?
It's in the hundreds for sure. And I think pets, it's over 1,500.
That's crazy.
It is.
It
I had to have to get them all mentality for a while. So a lot of those pets will be like different colors of the same pet. But I don't do that anymore because Blizzard started introducing like hundreds of pet with every X
Yeah.
pack. So
hundreds.
it's not a thing anymore for me anyway. Like
Yeah.
when you had 150 and if you got to 175, you'd have them all. That was a fun game. But
Right.
just getting a bunch of reskins of
Yeah,
the
you can no
same
longer
one.
be. It's not rational to be a completionist
Right.
anymore these days,
Right.
and that's fair.
Not that I require myself to be rational, but yeah, you're right.
Armor sets. Have you bought any armor cosmetics? Can you? How much armor
No,
cosmetics can you really buy for Warcraft?
I don't know. I've never bought armor. I don't know that they might not have armor cosmetics. I think Blizzard with WoW anyway. I don't know about Overwatch specifically, but I think they've been really good at keeping the cash shop and what you can get in game separate. Like there is the WoW token, so you can purchase gold with cash.
Yep.
But most transmogs are not things you can buy in the game with gold.
And them being relying on subscription and then having things like the WoW token, they don't need to rely on Cash App to be their main revenue generator, which then provides them more flexibility to have a lot of the best stuff is in-game earned.
Right. A lot of the best mounts, I would say all the best armor, and that includes armor with stats, right? You get from playing.
Right. Different levels of content, different rewards for the hardest content, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Like I never minded buying a pet every now and again from the Blizzard store because there was so much content for getting pets other ways.
Yeah.
So it was just like one more thing instead of like, oh my gosh, the only way to get a pet is to buy it. Then that would be different.
What about SWTOR? Have you bought?
Yes, I have bought outfits from the cash shop in Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I've bought mounts and I've bought weapon tunings, which is an effect you can put on your weapon.
Yeah, that's something I've bought too.
I have bought pets as well. Like I bought the juvenile turtle.
I bought decorations for my the housing, the in-game housing, the strongholds.
Yes, and just to clarify, I pay the sub on Star Wars: The Old Republic, and for that I get cartel coins, which is the currency that you spend in the shop.
Yes. Which is a good point.
With a very few exceptions, I haven't paid cash to the cash shop, just cartel coins. But like you said, it's still cash. I still paid for those coins with my subscription. I kind of think of that every time I get the email that says, "Oh, here's your complimentary cartel coins awards for the month." I'm like, they're not complimentary.
I paid for this.
I paid for them.
But that is a good point. I don't think I've ever actually bought cartel coins that bought the currency with real money, but I have gotten tons and tons of cartel coins.
I think
over
one
time
or two times I've done that, like Amazon bundle where you get like a month or 2 months of game time and 2,400 cartel coins and
maybe from that.
I have done that.
Battle passes in various games will award you their cash shop currency. Some games, like even Fallout 76, will award you their cash shop currency for achievements in the game. So I think that's a nice way to balance it a bit as well, and at least make the things, not a lot, but make some of it feel earnable. If you can get a little of that currency, I think even like Lotro does that. Definitely Star Wars: The Old Republic. You get cartel coins for certain achievements.
I've bought dyes, but not gems. Like gems affect the color of your lightsaber.
Yeah.
I've never really gotten into that, so I have like a handful of gems I just use all the time.
One of the things that it's nice, although it's double-edged both for the game company and for the in-game economy, is in Star Wars: The Old Republic, a lot of what you can buy off the cash shop is also then tradable in-game and sellable on the in-game auction house. It's much harder these days because they've increased the trading tax, the in-game tax, to try to get some of the in-game fake inflation under control. But I have a ton of what's in the cartel market, and almost all of it I've bought. I'd say 80% of what I have, 90% I bought in-game with just in-game currency. Just play the game, earn in-game currency, and buy it from other players that either got it out of a loot crate or bought it off the cartel market or however they got it.
That was my attitude too for a long time, but now I consider both ways because we've been playing this game so long, we've acquired a lot of cartel coins.
Yes.
So sometimes I spend them instead of the credits.
Now, I haven't been playing Fallout 76 too long, but I am sort of like buying their battle pass, and you get a lot of cash shop credits for that. And I find myself using it nowadays. And I never used to. And I loved, whatever reason, I like to see that the total number go up. That's a game that I play in my head. Like cartel coins. How many cartel coins can I have? So I used to not spend any of the currencies of anything, either virtual or cash shop currencies of anywhere, which is dumb because it is money. And if it's something fun, might as well have fun with it. The number, although it was my own fun. It was a little game I was playing in my head. I find myself in Fallout 76, they do a lot more of rotating things in and out of their cash shop, and they're kind of weird about what they have in terms of cosmetics in their cash shop and what they don't. They love like cosmetic skins for power armor in Fallout 76, but it's weird because each armor set, each power armor, there's different power armor sets. There's like 10 of them. Each one it's not like one skin works on all of them. They'll have like, well, this is the skin for the T65 armor set. Well, I don't wear a T65 armor set. Where's my skin for my ultrasight armor set? We don't have that. Mm. And then they have, I actually don't wear power armor in Fallout 76. I wear an in-game armor set that you buy with one of the in-game currencies. It's like an in-game armor set. It's called Secret Service armor. And it's the most boring armor. It's like plain flat gray. It almost looks like untextured assets that you put in a game engine. It's just like flat, metallic gray. I want an armor set. If they had a skin for that, if they had a skin for the Secret Service armor in the cash shop, I would buy it. I would spend my atoms or whatever the currency is, and I would buy it. And for months, they have not had a skin for it. They have put out a skin in the past. There's like been 2 skins for that armor set in the history of the game, whereas there's been like 30 skins for the T45 power armor. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're doing. Secret Service armor is a very popular armor set. Like half the players wear it. So I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I wonder what the thought is there.
I think they could be doing more. They could be getting more of my money at least. Well, I wouldn't spend money on it. I got my free atoms that I'm spending on it. Anyway.
Maybe there's something about how they designed the power armor that makes it easier.
Yeah.
To create mods.
Maybe. It's much more complicated armor than the stupid Secret Service armor.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking that maybe the Secret Service armor was created, during early development time, and they weren't thinking ahead.
Yeah, maybe it was sort of a different asset pipeline.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Keep thinking about that thing. Like if you're ever going to do a project, if you're ever going to make a game, how much do you want to think in the future, and how much of a foundation do you want to lay down ahead of time, so that even if you're not going to have a cash shop, well, what if you are going to someday? What would you need to like put in day one so that you don't like have to like rewrite the whole game? You're going to ruin things. What do your pipelines need to look like? I'm not going to do multiplayer, but what if you did? You're going to have to rewrite the game. That's a big one for game developers, that kind of thing. If you're going to ever think of doing multiplayer, there might be some things you want to do day one that change things, but it's expensive. It doubles the development cost. So then what's the trade-off? Weird. Yeah. So a lot of fun to be had with this stuff. I just thought the psychology of it was all kind of interesting. And I thought it was a fun topic for us to get into. Any other sort of thoughts you have on skins
Just
and cosmetics?
a final thing is just I do think having different looks puts another aspect of fun into a game. So I can remember a very convoluted thing I did several years ago where I needed I was going after a particular pet. I needed to be able to do frost damage, but I was a druid, no frost damage, but there was a knife or staff or something you could get if you could kill a boss in an old raid, but you could only kill that boss if you could. It was just a whole thing. I had to get this and get that and get this and get that and get this and that cat so I could finally kill that boss and get the pet drop and all that stuff. That was a fun little quest that I made up for myself.
Yeah. It becomes its own sort of content in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I like that too. And because it's fun and people like it, that, you get, I mean, even just collecting things too, whether or not you're ever going to wear it. But dressing yourself up, getting the little, the little decorations for your dashboard on your spaceship and that kind of thing that you can get like in No Man's Sky. It's fun. It's its own kind of fun. And having an outlet for more of those kinds of fun and having that be a little bit extra of a reward besides just like, oh, here's some more in-game currency or here's some XP. I think that's cool and a good addition, a good layer on a gameplay loop.
In Star Wars, when we're collecting for raids or for MFN beforehand, there's usually one, if not more, comments from somebody like, "Oh, hey, I like your armor seat," or "What mount is that?" So it's also an interaction thing.
Yeah, right. Social. Oh, that's a bullet point that we didn't have in our research paper, Sema. Social interaction. It drives social interaction. This is my theory. It is mine. It is my theory. Yeah, so cool. It's a good thing. We have decided. We have spoken. I have spoken. Cosmetics and skins are good. Yeah, I think on balance they are good. I think they're good for the industry. I think they're fun for players. Yes, there are pitfalls, but
and just like everything on the internet, look into it before you buy.
Yes, buyer beware. Caveat emptor.
Right. Probably one Google search. If there's a bad one out there, you're going to find it right away.
Right. So. Right. And don't get roped into those. Be aware of those dark patterns and don't get yourself sucked into the dark patterns.
I like that cat.
That is a pretty cool armor set, isn't it? Here you are, post-apocalypse armor, power armor. You're stomping around killing zombies, but if you get to look like a big pink cat... Oh, we skipped over.
It doesn't really look like a cat. It's kind of menacing. I think it's awesome.
We skipped over. Let's back it up for just a second before we get off of this. Call of Duty. Oh, yeah. Even has skins these days.
Ridiculous skin. Yeah.
Crazy, ridiculous. And they're somewhat controversial. You got a lot of like the hardcore, shooter, the whole old school Call of Duty fans that don't like these and are raging against them. And then you got a lot of people, especially like modern gamers, who love it. So this is like hardcore Call of Duty, military shooter, practically military sim. Is how they sort of like laid it out. And yeah, crazy stuff. There's one that makes both your character and then they have maps that go with it. Makes it look like you're made out of like blocks, kind of Minecrafty. They got so I think there's like a mobile version of Call of Duty, and then there's the main game of Call of Duty, and I think there's even crazier stuff in the mobile version. Like did I keep the link of the chicken gun? Yeah, where's the so here's the Minecraft stuff. Yeah, but there's a chicken gun in the mobile version where the gun looks like it's made out of chicken, and then when you shoot someone they turn into chicken nuggets. Yeah, so you get a chicken suit. I can't make a full screen for some reason. You get a chicken suit, and then when you shoot someone, looks like their whole body like transforms into fried chicken, and then they explode and turn into chicken nuggets on the ground. And the gun has like chicken parts intermixed with gun parts and flames.
Yeah. That is weirdly violent.
Call of Duty, ladies and gentlemen. Call of Duty. And then, and I didn't realize, so I thought this was like a modern take too, but you you turned me on to Cod of War.
Yeah.
That's the codfish skin for God of War, but that was for God of War like 1. This isn't like something that like just like in the new, to get hip with the kid, the Gen Z last year. They've been doing like these little unlockable skins, like if you beat the game way back. So like here, the dairy bastard, and you're like a cow with milk jugs, and you beat people with the milk jugs. Wow, that's crazy. That cow is violent.
And God of War is a completely serious game. I don't think it's...
Yeah, it's not like a goofy...
I think it is. And it's difficult. It's like Elden Ring difficult.
So here, if you beat the game, you can unlock the Cod of War, and it's basically like a fish costume, but it's like your character is wearing, like a costume shop fish. It doesn't turn you into a fish.
Right. Like in cutscenes, you still see the face of the character inside the helmet of the fish.
Right. You got arms and legs still, and you see Kratos, his face sticking out of the codfish costume at the top.
Right. And you can, yeah. And his weapons become fish hooks.
Oh, and the last bit, which I do like, and I think we're going to see more and more of this over time, especially as we get into more player creations and mods. This is kind of where the cosmetics come for something like Starfield quite a bit, is player-made cosmetics and player-made skins. VR chat and the VR worlds is a realm in which a lot of the skins are... It's like one of the primary ways that things get made for the game is you make the things yourself. So you're making your own avatar, you're making your own skins. And this is a video I pulled up of someone that made not only the armor set, but then a bunch of special effects. And they could do a move in VR where they do like a punch, and then it like shoots ice spikes out in the ground. So some very cool things. I really like this idea of the player created content. In fact, one of the things I wanted to do in Starfield, although I can't do it yet, I wanted to make my own skin for my weapon in Starfield. I've got this really cool gun that I like. I like its abilities. I like what it does, but it looks lame. It's like blocky and chunky and like white, just like a white blocky chunks with 5 polygons. I was going to skin it. I was going to paint it black and put flames. And I bet I could do it without a lot of problem. However, Starfield, as soon as you start modding the game and you download a mod, or you download one of the mods from the Constellation shop, except very few Bethesda approved mods, like their personal mods, if you download a player mod, it shuts off achievements. So I'm going to wait until I finish up all the achievements, which I'm not that far off of. There's a couple storylines I need to play. I've done most of the hard ones just along the way, not even realizing it. So I'm going to I'm going to 100% that game, and then I'm maybe going to make a mod just to try it out, just for fun. Because I think that's a cool thing. So speaking of that, that's what I've been playing. One of the things I've been playing. What else have you been playing, Sema? We'll do a little segment here to wrap it up for us that we haven't done in a while.
I mean, I've been playing WoW Remix and Star Wars: The Old Republic.
How much are you doing Bessie these days in Star Wars: The Old Republic?
I do every week. I do like the max.
Do you? Do you maxing it out? Because I did not max it out last week.
I mean, it's pretty casual unless you have a goal of doing it all on Tuesday or something. And I do it on like different characters or whatever.
Still like I 2. Isn't it like 2? Don't you spend then like 2 hours at least?
Yeah, but that's not much across a week.
No, it's not.
And
I keep forgetting it's not. I don't have to do it in a real time hour.
Right. And you don't have to do it in a real-time hour. Plus, I have no problem wasting that hour. Like, if I am doing it on a character and that I end up having like half an hour left on Bessie, I don't mind just switching to another character if I want to if I have goals for that other character. I've decided leaving time on the table with Bessie doesn't matter to me at all.
That makes a ton of sense because you'll never run out of the daily tokens. In fact, I don't know why I was even thinking of like it being a waste of tokens. There are a limited number of times you can take Bessie out during the week, but the way we play, we never run into that limit.
And I'm going to buy the training modules that I want, which dictates what content you play. Like, so I don't want to go and do dailies on Rishi. So I just buy a different one.
Yeah, that's also a good move. I still have been doing a lot and doing a lot of Bessie, but I did not cap it out last week because I just had a bunch of other things.
And I also haven't been looking ahead. Like, I haven't done a spreadsheet. I don't know how long it's going to take me if I do it this way. I don't know what the end point is. I'm just going with it.
Right. And what do you mean? You're playing for fun? That's not the way we play, Sema. Where's your spreadsheets? I do have some spreadsheets going on right now. Oh, here's a side story. I'm playing, what was I playing? Oh, Starfield. I have some massive spreadsheets in Starfield. One of them I published. I think you can still get a link to an earlier version of it. But I have like one page which shows a lot of the common things you would build in an outpost, and then a column for every sort of material and element. And then you put like how many it takes as you sort of like a recipe page. So there's one page that's the recipe page. And then there's a second page that I call the bill of materials page, where you drop a little combo box, pick what you need to build for an outpost that you're going to build, how many you're going to need to build. It does a lookup to the recipe page and fills out the total number of materials, and then gives you a sum total for all the things that you want to build at the end. So you have to build like power supply and like a hab unit and a landing pad and a extractor. So to try to remember the 50 things that you need to bring along with you, and you got to bring it physically to the planet. I had to have this very complex spreadsheet. Anyway.
Plus, it's the famous Bethesda UI.
Yes.
Probably not helping you much.
It's crazy. And weight limits, which are crazy, storage limits all over the place. I'm in there, and my older daughter, who just moved out of her apartment, she's moved back in here for just a little bit while she's in between looking for what fancy place she's going to get next. She came by. I'm playing Starfield. I've got on my second monitor the big spreadsheet out. She gets a look at my spreadsheet, and she's like, "Well, that is a really well done spreadsheet. I like what you've done here." I'm like, "All right, if I've succeeded at one thing as a parent, I've instilled the appreciation of spreadsheets." Now she's an accountant and she lives in spreadsheets all day, so she can appreciate a good spreadsheet. But I was so amused by that. She just come by complimenting my spreadsheet work.
He finally values you.
Forrester, that one is not a pivot table. I do have pivot tables in my Star Wars The Old Republic spreadsheet. I did this big analysis because there was this one time, one of the expansions, I think it was like 6.0, where I was convinced that the rewards were out of balance for running crew missions. So I did a big data analysis where I ran like 1,000 crew missions. And it was like 500 of them or 600 were just slicing crew mission. And then I like cataloged like the time it took and the cost it took to send the companion out, the success or failure, and then the return from the crew mission. And then I had a pivot table where I could do the analysis on the averages and the sums and which crew missions had a high profitability versus low profitability, all on a pivot table. So why? That's a game I make for myself. You make your own fun, don't we, Sema?
Yes, that's right.
So Star Wars: The Old Republic, you shifted a little bit in. Oh, you were doing remix. Yeah, how's the remix going?
It's an incredible game. It's like living your fantasy of being overpowered. That's what it's completely about. And it's very gratifying in that way. It's also gratifying in that it's going to put an end to some, I think I've touched on this before, to some of the frustrations I've had in the past trying to get rare drop mounts. because in Remix you can buy the rare mounts from Pandaria, from Mr. Pandaria, which is an X pack of WoW. You can buy them with the currency that you earn by playing Remix.
And then they translate into the main game. They become part of your collection.
Yes, they will. In fact, immediately, right? Because in WoW, once you learn a mount, it's in your mount collection.
And we talked about this last week for anybody that missed it. We sort of dove deep into what Remix really is. And it's kind of a separate game in the same way that almost, but not completely, as like WoW Hardcore or WoW Classic.
It's completely separate. Like I cannot even send mail to any of my other characters.
Yeah. Now it will connect at the end once WoW Remix Pandaria ends. Those characters will be transported where the other the other ones, WoW Hardcore and Classic, don't.
I feel like, you know how when you, like Rogue has this capability called Sprint where you run fast for a short amount of time and then you go back to your normal speed. It's always kind of a letdown when you go back to your normal speed. I can't imagine that I'll feel anything but giant letdown.
Right.
So I'm really curious to see how this is going to pan out. Because like right now, my priest, which is my main, quote unquote main in Remix, has almost 1 million health, which is 5 times the amount of health that my normal level 70 character has.
Yikes. So
I mean,
as a mage, so talking about class cannon, you're like a mage tank.
Well, it's a priest, but in a way, no, because it also does scale, right? So like also now mobs are hitting me for like 250k at a time. So I'm still squishy. But yes, I can run, and I just run around in Holy Nova, everything. I just run around in my Holy Spec because why not?
I love that. Yeah.
And
it's the ARPG-ification of an MMO.
I don't understand I don't ever understand when you bring action RPG into it. What do you mean by that?
By allowing the game to expand into being overpowered, mixing different weird abilities.
I always connect action RPG with not having tab targeting.
Yeah, well, that would be a fine definition too, and it's not that part of it, and that's not the part that I mean. Yeah.
So I didn't know that. So like Diablo, you can just continue to get more and more powerful. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
and
that.
Like
There's
break the class and do weird, like get a piece of armor that like really transform you and maybe makes you really overpowered and more powered than anybody else. But it's okay because it's like a temporary thing. It doesn't have to be balanced in the world of an RPG or an MMO. Is there PvP in WoW Remix?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, there probably isn't, because I'm sorry for stammering over that. Before Remix, a few months ago, there was that PvP. It was similar. There was a PvP event they had that was also separate from the game, and it was called, I call it
Thunderdome.
Thunderdome, but it wasn't that. It was something else. Thunderstorm or something.
And that was really separate. That was almost like a mini game.
Yeah. Right, you had different abilities.
It was a battle. Everything. It was a battle royale, and you picked up your abilities as that was, and that was quite interesting.
And that's an interesting example because I didn't even look at the cosmetic rewards that you got for playing that because I couldn't have been less interested
in the gameplay, especially.
Yeah. Like a lot of people said, you can play it. You can just grit your teeth and get enough of whatever that currency was to get the rewards. At the time, I said, okay, maybe I'll try it, but then I never did because, like, when I sit down to play, I never thought, oh, why don't I half play this game that I know I won't like in order to get rewards? It's just not how I want
sit in my collection that I won't ever take out anyway because it'll.
That's never how I wanted to spend my game time. I want to be like working towards some goals I have in Star Wars or some goals.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never played that particular thing, but yeah, Remix is pretty. It's pretty addictive.
Yeah. Well, as you said, like the power fantasy. Take your MMO character that you're familiar with, but you get the power fantasy of making it overpowered and do fun, new, interesting things that they don't have to worry about the balance.
The currency that you collect is called bronze, but I got to spend my bronze. I don't want to be up on the last night thinking, okay, how am I going to spend my bronze? What am I going to buy?
Yes.
thinking, "Is it midnight yet?"
Whereas I would just ride off into that good night with a big pile of bronze and just be happy that I won rich, that I that I died rich.
See, that's an interesting choice that people have to make in Remix, or I don't know if I have to make. Like I've made the choice that really I want to use Remix to get these rare items, these rare cosmetics that I have wanted and never was able to get. Or you can spend the bronze to make your Remix character more and more and more powerful.
Right.
And so some people are going down that route.
Interesting.
But I can't talk myself into doing that because that's going away. It's not like you're going to be more powerful. That player is going to be more powerful in the War Within than my character.
Right. Exactly.
But it's fun for them too. I mean, that's the game that they want to play too.
Sure. Yeah. Again, having fun with that power scale. That's super cool, and I like that too.
Yeah.
So I've been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. We still do our fun nights. We won't do our Operation Night this week, Will, because it's 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everybody in the U.S.
Yeah.
They don't have 4th of July in other countries. They go right from the 3rd to the 5th.
I think I'm gonna have a celebratory cheeseburger tomorrow. That's my plan.
That sounds great. Okay, you could have a double hot dog in one bun.
I could.
That's very American, apparently. Yeah, I've been playing a bunch of that still. I've been playing a bunch of Fallout 76. There's their new Battle Pass season started up. Kind of been hitting that hard. Just finishing all of the objectives. Starting on day 1 of the season, I'm definitely going to complete the season. And there's like a bonus rank that I wasn't able to get to last season. I'll definitely be able to get to that bonus rank. So that's fun because I'll get a bunch of the cosmetics and in-game currency and everything that we talked about today. And then I've been playing Starfield, and I'm having a ton of fun in Starfield. So I did all my New Game Plus to round 11. I restarted the game 10 times, that means, because then I was able to get all of the Starfield powers. So this is what you do. Each time you journey through the Unity, you have opportunity to replay the game. One of the ways to replay it is to rush around and just get all of the upgrades to your Starborn powers. Your ship, your armor, and your Starborn powers all then get upgraded. Your ship only upgrades about 6 times. Your armor upgrades basically 9 times, and your powers go all the way up to rank 10. And I did all of that. I did it enough times. It was like an hour or two. It's like a couple hours per reset, per new game. And I did all the way that all the way through. And now I'm like back into the game. I went back to, you sort of restart. You know everything that you know. You have your powers. You have nothing from the previous playthroughs, though. All of your ships and outposts and all of that were wiped every time you go through the Unity. You go back to sort of like the start of the game. You go back and talk to the crew, the Constellation crew in the lodge, and you have the choice. On all of the New Game Pluses that I was doing fast, I walked in there and I said, whoa, back it up. I know what you guys are doing. I'm Starborn. Let me explain to you what this is and what you've been working towards. In this last playthrough, I get to go back, walk into the lodge and go, I'm just that miner that you met over on that with that first artifact. Let's work together and find out what's going on. It's a mystery. So you basically get to play through the story again. And that's what I'm doing. There are side storylines that I never played through. I wanted to do this New Game Plus and then go back into this and now play through those. I never did the Ryusian corporate. There's like a corporate espionage storyline. I never finished even some of the main storylines, like the main factions. The what's the Frontier, Freestar Rangers. I never became a Freestar Ranger, so I'm gonna go be a Freestar Ranger. All that kind of stuff, and it's a good game. It's a good game. Somebody explained it though. It's like all the storylines seem to be designed around like middle-aged people. Like like 30, 40, 50. They're all like the characters have had like careers already, and some of them are retired, and the jokes they make are so it's there's like
Interesting.
no one's like, like the 18-year-old young gun, out there taking on the world kind of young adult plot line.
I mean, it's not like there's not enough of that out there already.
Right. So you can see why this wouldn't resonate in that way with
Right.
like a Gen Z audience necessarily as much. I think
Right.
it still
Right.
could, but it may not resonate in that way. But and I didn't even put this together until I saw somebody sort of talking about it, but it kind of resonates with me because I feel like these are like adults, and the characters that I'm talking to are like adults, and they have jobs and they have bills to pay, and I'm like, okay, well that's kind of me too, and I get
Yeah.
it. So it's been fun. So yeah, it's been a blast, and I'm gonna continue to do more. I've sunk hours into starship design. I sunk hours into outpost design. I've got like a whole bunch of, I'm like, level 89, and you get more and more skills. You can get all the skills to max level, but you have to be like level 350 before you would ever do that. So I'm still having to make choices on which skills I want to upgrade, but I upgrade these skills so I can get like advanced power generators for my outposts. Why? There's no real reason to do that if you can make lots of things, but the best stuff is stuff you earn by playing the quest lines and finding in crates, like the best weapons. You're not going to make that in your outpost, but you could still do it, and that's its own fun. So I'm having fun finding the fun, seeing all the systems, taking them to their limit and seeing what they've done. And then as soon as I finish all the achievements, as I said, I'm going to check out the mods. I think that's going to be a fascinating part of that game too. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. There's a lot of fun talking about skins. So go skin your cat, or put skin on whatever the case may be. Sema. All the feed and subscribe links for all of us and our stuff are on newoverlords.com. Our videos on YouTube/newoverlords. Please come chat with us in our Discord, as we always like to say, at newoverlords.com/Discord. You can also follow us on all of those unused social networks, and we'll keep you up to date there too. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.